fans of your music. They couldn't wait to see you perform at the rehearsal and, of course, now on the show. You have a ton of fans in the chat room, so thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you've been on YouTube for a while now. So what was the one video that really became big for you, and why do you think it's that video that...
Yeah, you know, my first big hit, I mean, I started doing YouTube about a year and a half ago, roughly.
Only a year and a half ago?
Yeah, that's when I really started, like, I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I did a Zelda video, and I dressed up as Link, and I played my violin in the woods. I had little elf ears and everything like that. And that was what really kicked off everything for me. And ever since then, it's been like, wow, I can do YouTube full time, and I can do this. And that video also helped me get a really awesome, very dedicated fan base. So you guys are the best.
Yay! What do you think it was about that video?
You know, I think it's just because so many people relate to the Zelda game.
Yeah.
Like, people played it as kids. It brought them back to their childhood, and that's what so many people said was, this brought back so many memories, and it just hit a very specific niche audience.
Yeah, and you do so many amazing songs, covers, compilations. Like, how do you decide what type of song and music video you're going to do, and what's your process?
Yeah, well, my favorite music videos to do are my original songs,
Yeah.
because I've been working on this album for a long time now, and so that's what I love the most, is to create an original video for an original song.
Yeah.
I used to be a film major when I first started college, so that whole creative film side is like really rooted into my soul, so I just love all that.
And now what's your process? Because some of the videos are, I mean, they're high quality. They're pretty intense. I mean, you're going to locations
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, well, one thing that's nice is I live in Utah currently, and
Yeah.
Utah is absolutely gorgeous scenery. So a lot of the videos I film in these gorgeous locations are just like 15 minutes away from my house. I'll just go scout them out with Devin Graham. He's the cinematographer I work with.
Yeah.
And we'll scout out some locations, and you know, 2 days later we're there, and I make a costume, and we're there.
It's that easy. Well, we have a ton of fans who want to ask you some questions. So, Mike, what's going on in the chat room?
Well, the first question we have here is, how did you first learn violin, and how much do you practice?
Ooh, I first learned when I was 6 years old, picked up a violin after begging my parents. They finally gave me lessons. And I practiced probably about, through all of junior high and high school, probably about a half hour to an hour a day. And now I feel like I play constantly.
You got your 10,000 hours in early
Yes,
to be an expert.
Exactly. Is that what it takes?
You know what? That's
10,000?
what they say, Malcolm Gladwell. It's true.
Right on. Well, I think I might have maybe made it.
So, you know, you've been called a hip-hop violinist. Is that what you look at yourself as? Or how would you describe your position in this whole music space?
Yeah, I wouldn't really call my music hip-hop anymore. It definitely started there when I first started exploring when I was on America's Got Talent. I was playing to hip-hop tracks. Since then, I was like, you know, I love the EDM style music. Electronic dance music feeds my soul. And so that's kind of what I love to do, is just dance beats with violin.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to take another one from the chat room.
What kind of, well, actually, this person you just answered that question. So what do you do for fun when you're not working on videos or music?
You know, that's a really good question, because I'm constantly working on videos and music, but I do love to eat at really delicious places.
You're a foodie.
I am a foodie. Oh my gosh, that's what traveling is all about. When I'm going to shows and stuff, I always have to find the cool restaurants in the area, so I'm totally a foodie, anything sweet. And I also love to dance. And,
Well, yeah, I see that. Did you take dance lessons? Because you move
really
really well in
Thanks.
your videos. I'm like, how is she doing those moves while she's playing violin?
Yeah, I never took dance lessons. It's always just been a big hobby of mine. And I actually YouTubed tutorials when I first started to want to dance. And I learned how to moonwalk and glide by everybody on YouTube's little tutorials.
That's awesome. And now, two big things for you that are coming up, your album.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. You've been working on it for a while. What can people expect?
Yeah, so I mean, I have been working on it for over a year now. But I am so excited to release it. I am thoroughly happy with it. I love every track, personally. And it's very dance-driven, very energy, lots of energy. And I know a lot of people have been requesting more dubstep, and I've got several new dubstep songs coming out on it. So I'm thinking it's going to be good.
And now you're touring, which it'll be interesting to see that translate what we see on the videos, on YouTube videos, into a real-life performance.
Yes. So in my show, it's really cool because I have a band behind me. I have 2 band members and a kind of a DJ guy mixing the live tracks with the already recorded tracks. And I'll be dancing while I play as well. And so it's just a very high energy, really fun show that features everything from your favorite covers to my new original stuff.
Well, I love when I see someone that's as talented as you and a violinist, which is so rare, be able to break into that in that way in the mainstream and also perform to huge crowds. So it's so fun to see. And now you're going to perform for us today a song called
Okay, hi guys, welcome to my new channel. This is my kind of everything else channel. Lindsey Stomp is for cool music videos and such, and this is just for you guys to kind of get to know me as me and nothing else. There's not really going to be any fancy editing or anything really spectacular about this channel, so if you're looking for something awesome, go somewhere else. This one's just going to kind of be like shots from behind the scenes. It's gonna be me just talking like this. I'll do some violin tutorials. I'll answer your guys' questions. And then I'm also gonna have a lot of behind the scenes like stuff from me on the road, like on my tour and all that great excitingness. So subscribe if you'd like to just get to know me better. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun and I'm actually kind of excited about it. So, see you guys. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be cool. I am fun.
She's known as the dancing violinist, but I call her the violinist prodigy. You guys might know her as Lindsey Stomp. You might have seen her on YouTube. She has over 700,000 subscribers and over 120 million video views. First of all,
Thanks.
round of applause for this girl. How
you
are
made
you?
me feel so legit when you introduced me. Wow.
That was a good intro,
That
right?
was. She's good.
Okay, good. Okay, the first thing I have to ask you is, we're gonna start at the beginning. This is the story of Lindsey.
Okay.
Why violin?
That's a very good question. When I was like about 5 years old, my parents would, I lived here in LA actually.
Really?
My parents would take me and my sisters to all the free orchestra concerts in the park. And if you ever go to one of those, you'll notice that the violinist, the first chair violinist, comes out at the beginning in a beautiful dress and she tunes the orchestra. And I knew who the star of the orchestra was. And so I just wanted to play the violin. They got all the fun parts and I just started begging my parents for lessons when I was 5 years old.
All makes sense now. All makes sense. Anyways, it's no secret that you were on America's Got Talent recently. What was that experience like for you? Because I know you got some harsh criticism from Piers Morgan, which was not nice. Something about rats drowning.
Rats, strangled. Yeah, not cool.
Okay. No, so what was it like?
Well, you know, it was a very exciting experience. It was my first time really showing I'm gonna be a solo performer and I'm gonna try something unique and different. And so I went out there very wide-eyed, like a kid in a candy shop. I loved it. It was very exciting, and I met
putting yourself out there
yeah,
completely.
It was okay, all walls down, here I come. And so I made myself completely vulnerable, and it was very fun. I learned a lot. That last week on the show was pretty heart-wrenching for me. You know, it was my first time really trying anything like this, and it hurt really bad when Piers Morgan gave me that feedback, and it was all I could do not to just burst into tears on stage, because I was just I worked so hard.
Right.
But you know what? It's kind of funny because it was absolutely humiliating at the time, and I was like, I'm never gonna step on a stage again. But the next day, or a couple weeks later, thinking about it, I was like, no, I can either let this tear me down, or I can prove a point.
Yeah, that could be your motivation.
And it was totally my motivation of I have a really big point to prove now. A lot of people don't think I can do this, and I really feel like that's what fueled the fire, and those are the make or break moments. So.
Yeah, and you're so successful now. That was your revenge success.
That's right.
And now you have this huge career on YouTube, which was sort of an accident, right? I mean, you got a following after AGT, and then what happened?
So I had this small little following. They subscribed, and I had one video online just that I'd thrown up, and then it just kind of sat there and didn't do much. And then it's funny, I produced this original music I was so excited about to throw it out there to the world, and it just sat there and it didn't sell at all. And I was kind of like, oh, well, that's a pity.
I'm sad.
I know. So I happened to meet cinematographer Devin Graham, who is his YouTube channel is Devin Supertramp. He offered to do a free music.
This morning in our Second Cup Cafe, a musician who is burning up the internet. Violinist Lindsey Stirling jumped onto the national stage when she was on America's Got Talent. She's become a YouTube sensation with over 135 million hits.
And this past week, she released her debut self-titled album and has embarked on a nationwide tour. This morning, she's going to perform her new hit single, Crystallize. Ladies and gentlemen, Lindsey Stirling.
You know, I'm not exactly sure what it like legitimately is, but I would probably think it'd be something like a ferret, because I don't know, I've had a ferret before, and they're like super curious, and they're always getting into everything, and like determined little creatures. That's me. Cool. Yeah, I guess it could be. Heck, I'm part of it. Why not? Yeah, I have encountered different sexisms in the music industry, especially the fact that I like to keep a very clean, modest appearance, and a lot of, I don't like to exploit myself in any sort of way. And so a lot of people have advised me strongly that I should dress or act in certain ways, but I'm very strong to my standards, my beliefs, and that's something that I think is part of what makes me who I am as an artist and as a person.
Well, I guess he's more of an actor, but I have always, my celebrity crush has always been Will Smith. Worst show I ever played? Oh my gosh, probably on a really big stage called America's Got Talent. Oh my gosh, I'm a foodie. I love chocolate. Oh, ice cream, milkshakes, all the way, 100% milkshakes. Stupidest thing I've ever done while being really exhausted. Oh, I don't know. We'll come back to that one.
Lindsey Stirling, and I'm excited to be here in Boston. It's gonna be a good show. Oh, if I could be transported to any decade, it would definitely be the 80s, 100%. My guilty pleasure. Oh, I'm a foodie. I don't like that term, but I love being one. I love any type of food. Ice cream, Italian, Mexican. Oh my gosh, Mexican, sushi. Sound or noise? I like Christmas music. I love, and I think the scratching of old record players, I love that. It feels very vintage, and it kind of takes me back to like what first got me to music. Oh gosh. What do I hate? The good old screeching on the chalkboard has never been my favorite sound. Inspires me. There is this father-son duo. It's Dick and Ricky Hoyt, and the son has cerebral palsy. I can't talk right now. I'm gonna try again. The son has cerebral palsy, and he's in a wheelchair. He can't move. He can't talk. But they run races around the world together, and they do triathlons, and the dad will push him in the wheelchair for the running part. He'll pull him behind him in the, for the swimming and the biking part. And they go all over the place, and they do these marathons and triathlons, and I just find it amazingly inspiring because the son that has cerebral palsy, he claims that when he's running these races with his dad, he feels like a normal person. And I just think it's so inspiring that we can all contribute, we can all do something so that we can feel a part and inspire others not to be afraid and not to let limitations or differences stop them. I actually graduated from college
with a degree in therapeutic recreation, and I wanted to work at a treatment center for troubled teenage girls that are going through rehab. So I actually did that for a year, loved it.
Coming for me, but so cool.
And there were times in there when it was okay, and there were times when it sounded to me like a bunch of rats being strangled. Seriously, that bad.
What was that like, having Piers Morgan say what he said to you? Did that motivate you?
Yeah, well, you know, that was my first time really putting myself out there, like, I'm gonna try to be a performer, you know, I'm gonna try to do this, and to have your first like step absolutely, like, you know, your legs knocked out from under you, you know, it really took me down quite a bit, and I wondered to myself, you know, maybe he's right, you know, this is my first big try, and I totally felt like I failed, and it was very humiliating. But then, you know, those are the moments that kind of define you, and I remember thinking to myself, well, I can let it tear me down, but I decided I would use it as extreme motivation, and nothing motivates me more than when people tell me I can't do something. And so actually in my album that it just got released about 2 weeks ago, and I have a thank you section in there, you know, I thank my parents, thank some people that really inspired me. There's a whole little tiny paragraph that thanks Piers Morgan for what he said, because really, you know, after I got over the initial shock and hurt, I was like, no, he gave me a point to prove not only to him and everybody else, but I had to prove it to myself once more that no, I love this, I'm worth it, and I can work hard, I can do this.
Now, have you talked to him since?
I have not. I have not. I told my publicist, I was like, you know, they were talking about different shows they were trying to get me on. I was like, hey, if you can get me on the Piers Morgan show, that'd be awesome. I'd love to just, you know, not in like a mean way, but I would love to see him again and be like, hey, I took what you said, and I feel like I have become a lot better as a result of the being cut down.
That's great. So now tell everybody about your album.
My album. Okay, so I worked on this album for way too long. It took me almost 2 years to do it. And so I am absolutely stoked that it's finally out, and that, you know, people are listening to it, and that people like it. I mean, as an artist, it just feels so good to have your work appreciated when you're really proud of it. So I'm excited.
And it's all original tunes, all your stuff.
Yeah, all originals. Yeah. And a couple months down the road, I'm going to do a covers album as well. But I wanted my first to be all original.
Do you still feel the pressures of people saying, hey, you know, maybe try incorporating a band or something? I know Sharon had that on the talent thing. She's like, you need a band. And
yeah, well, I remember her comment was to join a band, to be the backup member of a band.
The problem is with you need to be in a group. You need a singer, you need to find a group of people to work with. And I don't think what you're doing right now is enough.
Been there, done that, and I had decided I didn't want to do that. Of
course.
And so now it's, I mean, I don't feel any pressures to do that anymore because I'm doing what I love. I stuck to my guns, and it works. You know, when you really do what you love, people I've found that people gravitate to it, and that's what. Over and over again. Finally, I started putting videos on YouTube just because I thought it would be fun to make one for my song. I decided I was going to be 100% me, and I wasn't going to compromise that to impress anybody. I put everything I had into it. And I was shocked that this music that I'd put on iTunes months before that hadn't sold at all, even right after America's Got Talent, all of a sudden it started selling. You know, it was just like the moment of my life. I took this little tiny YouTube channel I had and I just started to build it about 1.5 years ago, and I've been amazed at the response. I had no idea the video would be a huge success as it was. Social media, it works. YouTube was a door that actually opened. They're the ones that made it possible, and I absolutely love it. It really proved to me that when you're not afraid to show who you are, people gravitate to that. People love to see genuine, just people being themselves. And so, since I love to dance, I started to want to infuse dance elements with violin. I definitely was not a dancer, but I just started watching YouTube tutorials on how to glide or how to moonwalk, and I would watch it over and over again and see how they would like bend their back or how they would lean their body so that I could try to mimic these dance moves. So mimicking is pretty much how I've learned to dance. My fans on YouTube means the world to me. They're like my team. They give a lot of requests for the songs that I end up doing because they're the ones that share my videos. They're the ones that support me. They're basically my record label. I have to report to them. They created all the merchandise that I'm using on my tour. They designed all my stuff. They come and be extras in my videos. They've just been so supportive, and it's a great relationship because I appreciate their support and they get really excited when I use the things that they create. We really are a team. I have a lot of gamer fans, and so I'm releasing an Assassin's Creed video soon. And along with that, my album is releasing. It's my first album, and it's my self-titled album, so it's gonna be awesome. It's amazing how everything you learn in life intertwines to create who you are.
Lindsey Stirling, and I am a violinist. What makes me a little bit unique is, yes, I was classically trained for years and years, but I now play with rock bands, I do rock music, and most recently I like to play hip-hop music while I dance. So I write some of my own original music that's, you know, backup tracks. My music is all original, but mostly what I've been doing lately is I'll take popular radio hits that I really like, because I love to go dancing. I love to go, you know, bust my white girl moves on the dance floor. So I take songs that I love to listen to and I love to party to, and I'll write violin parts over it that are my own completely original elaborations of the track, the original music. And that's something that people seem to really like because it's a recognizable song, but yet it's something completely unique that I add to it. So my dad had all these records, all these classical records that he would play, and I can remember dancing to Mozart and Scheherazade as a little girl with my sisters. And I also remember my dad would look through the newspapers and circle all the free concerts in town, and he would take us to all these classical orchestral concerts. You know, and I would hear the violins, and I just longed to be a violinist after hearing that. At the age of 5, I began begging my parents for lessons. They couldn't afford to give me lessons, so my mom searched around town and made calls looking for a teacher that would give me lessons every other week instead of every week. And no one would agree to teach a 6-year-old little girl that infrequently, because they didn't think that anyone could learn at that rate. But my mom kept searching until finally she found one teacher that she could afford and that would do this. And
that was my beginning to the violin. I first kind of stepped away from my classical training when I was 16 and I joined the rock band Stomp on Melvin. At the time it was totally just a fun thing and we were all just about having fun. We went on a little rock tour and you know, it was all fun and games, but it was such an inspiration to me because for the first time I realized that the violin could be fun. It could be exciting and you didn't have to just stick in this mold regiment of proper and classical. And so that was when I first realized the endless limitations of the violin. Music is completely my creative outlet. It's how I love to express myself, it's how I release my emotion, and it's just something that I absolutely love to do. Not only do I love to play the violin for myself, but I enjoy it so much when I can see people smile or when I can see that their emotions come across, you know, when they hear my playing. And that just brings me so much joy when I can tell that other people are enjoying what I love to share. Hey, I'm Lindsey Stirling and you're watching Urban Media. Now that I've gotten a lot of exposure and that I realize that people really enjoy what I do, the future is wide open and I'm actually super excited because I took this semester off school just to kind of try the life of a musician. I'm kind of in limbo right now. I'm in contact with several agents and whatnot, and I'm just pursuing my own soloist career as a violinist.
Lindsey Stirling is a very free-spirited person that likes to try new things and pretty much isn't afraid to step outside the box. So when I go to write an original tune, a lot of it depends on what I'm feeling like, and also I always know I really like a beat I'm working with if I can dance to it. So all my original stuff has to be super dancey, vibey, and that way, and lots of energy, because when I perform I love to have lots of energy. Covers, I like to just basically take a song and find a way to make it me, and find a way that I don't want to ever just copy a cover, you know, or an artist ever, so I always have to find a way to make it my own. did a Zelda medley, and I gained this really awesome, loyal fan base of gamer nerds, and they've been my biggest support. The Assassin's Creed one I just did last week was super fun. That was a really awesome costume, very elaborate, and made me feel super. I'm not tough. I'm pretty like wimpy and kind of, you know, klutzy. But being in that costume, I felt like I was like a warrior. My violin that I play almost all the time, my baby, her name is Excalibur. And then I have a kind of like, I call it a stunt violin. It's a really crummy violin. It doesn't even play. It's so bad. But her name is Ingrid, and I use her for a lot of the videos, like when I'm in the rain or when I'm, you know, pulling it out of the ground.